Hello everyone and thanks for stopping by my channel. I am Serge T, and in this video I will be talking about AEW Dynamite for the 1st of May 2024. We're already in May, folks, and Dynamite surprised me tonight. But let's go ahead and get into it. Let's talk about it. Starts off with Tony Khan looking every bit of a dork with the neck brace on and the Jaguars helmets and AEW World Title behind him as he talks to us from the offices of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he mentions that he will be producing Dynamite from there. Of course you are, TK. You won't let no one else do it. And Kenny Omega is returning tonight, where Dynamite is emanating from his hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, that is. He's not cleared to return, this is told TK, due to the attacks by the Bucks and a newly reinstated Jack Perry. The one who attacked you, TK? What, you let anyone victimize you and hey, I will reinstate that person? But then the feed that we see with TK becomes staticky and it cuts out as we see Matthew and Nicholas at the studio, obviously behind it. But we hope for TK's speedy recovery from his quote-unquote head and neck injuries. Yeah, sure. As their colleagues are not going anywhere. They're both not going nowhere. The Bucks have an ironclad contract and their buddies are protected pretty much. So that explains Perry being reinstated. It wasn't TK, it was the Bucks. Now the intro is all elite, as in featuring only the elite. Now up next is the world champ Swerve Scott, and will he cut a promo worth listening to and not have an eliminator match? But it is announced that he will get a #1 contender tonight. Now Swerve calls out the EVPs and says that what they did is a bitch move, referring to, I am sure, what happened to TK. Now, who will be Swerve's next challenger? And he asks whomever it is, come forward and please wipe your feet before you step into whose house? And the crowd, of course, says Swerve's house. Now, the EVPs pop up on the screen and address his bad behavior. To them, his bosses. And a dose of humility is needed, and they choose Christain Cage in his home country, and he is accompanied by his family. Now, Christain Cage, the Christian chants ring out, but like I always say, what a bunch of dopes. You are cheering the heel, but weren't you just cheering the face who swerved? It's like, what is going on with these people and how they just don't know when to cheer, when not to cheer. Let's go along with the damn thing of wrestling and not just say that, well, I could do whatever I want to because they say I can cheer whoever I want and boo whoever I want. I mean, it really comes off sounding stupid. Now, Christian attacks Swerve. He's right up there. He looks like he's going to talk on the mic, and then he hits him with the mic. And Swerve fights back, but in the end, the numbers game is too much as Christian hits the kill switch on Swerve onto his title belt. And Nana is on the receiving end of a Wayne's World. Now, Swerve, this is Christian, there is something you should know about me. I never forget. Now I'm thinking, I wonder what that is. What is it that he's going to bring up from the past, right? I forgot that these guys had any kind of history, right? I haven't forgotten that some months ago you broke into my son Nick's gym. Remember that? And you left him in a pool of his own blood. That was brutal. I remember that. Him and AR Fox, right? And the crowd is rowdy. But then Christian shuts him down and tells him to keep quiet while he conducts business. I haven't forgotten that at one point you and I were a tag team at the biggest show in the history of this business, and you lost. You embarrassed me. I have been waiting for the right moment to make you answer for these mistakes. And you went and won yourself the world championship. It seems there's no better time than now, right now, to make you pay for those mistakes. I'm going to embarrass you the same way you embarrassed me. I'm going to end your title reign before it even starts. I'm gonna make sure you are a footnote in the history of AEW. And he continues, I heard your little speech last week, Swerve, when you talked about your path to the world title, to the point where your daughter doesn't even know you. Well, Swerve, when I am done with you, your daughter is gonna not want to know you. But I can promise you this, your daughter is gonna have a father she could be proud of. Again, being that dickish heel that he always is, man, it's like, you say that about someone's daughter? And then he caps it off by saying, for the rest of her life. Now, Winnipeg, this is Christian continuing, the same way the Colorado Avalanche walked into your house and took your championship dreams, I'm going to walk into Swerve's house at Double or Nothing. And I'm going to rip the AEW championship out of your hands. But Swerve knows this. The pain is just begun. And we see him notion kill switch, who then rips a braid out of Swerve's head. And do I see blood at the part that was ripped from Swerve's head? Yikes. I looked at that, I'm going, did he actually rip it out? Did Swerve go, okay, just go ahead, man, rip it out? It's just hair, I know that. It's just like, but I'm like going, did he actually draw blood? Man, and he was in pain. You see him selling it. If it wasn't really painful, if it was just a braid that was there for him to rip out, and he just, sold it, man, he had a lot of pain on his face, because in reality, that would hurt like a mother, you know what. Now, the House of Black accept the Cope Open. And who will take Copeland up on this challenge? Well, he, like us, according to the House of Black, are going to find out together. And Adam Copeland is already blown up as he awaits which House of Black member will he be facing. He's already sweating, he's huffing and puffing. I don't know if it's his age or it's just that he was just so amped up for this match. But he was sweaty, blown up. I mean, he was real ready, like, looking like he already went through a match. And then who was it that he has to face? Buddy Matthews. Now, a side note, it's so distracting from the match as Aubrey Edwards is putting on a pantomime show. Like, gosh, she is awful as a ref. Man, she needs to stop overacting and feeling she needs to be making these motions as if she is directing traffic. And her facial expressions. I mean, pause the DVR and see how silly she looks, because she does. I don't understand what her method is. I don't think she was that bad in the beginning. I think someone is giving her the kind of lessons that maybe she shouldn't be taking and being a ref. I don't know. It's like, nothing personal against her, but it's just like, why is she like that on when she's a ref, when she's out there? It's not about you, Aubrey. It's about the wrestlers. It's almost like she's making it about herself. Look at me. I'm a character too. You know what I mean? Now let's continue. As the match goes on, both men collide in the ring. They're going for high cross bodies and hit body to body, and Matthews is bleeding from the mouth. And is this a serious injury? Is it a serious injury? Because it looks that bad. It really does. But the match continues, and they proceed to beat the crap out of each other. But Matthews continues to hold his stomach, really selling it. You can tell that it was a work. It wasn't serious, but man, he really sold it. I don't know if he had a blood capsule in his mouth or something, but I honestly thought that he was bleeding out of the mouth because something happened, internal injuries or whatever, Holy crap, But he's a tough son of a bitch, man. And he even gets planted with an avalanche impaler from the second rope, the second turnbuckle or something, by Copeland. And it proceeds to lay into Cope and tries to submit him, but Cope turns the tide and hits an angle slam for a near fall. Really good transitions, really good trading of offensive moves. I mean, this is a physical match, and like you know how Buddy Matthews works. He doesn't hold back, and Copeland can give it out as well as he can take it. Dishing it out as well as he can take it. But alas, the match nears an end, and Cope hits the spear. And he pins and retains the TNT title. Now, all of a sudden, Copeland snaps and attacks Matthews with a steel chair and sets up for a concerto, and the lights go out. And I shit you not, Tony Schiavone actually says, "I don't know what that means, but it can't be good for Copeland. It's like, what the fuck are you saying, TA? Tony? It's like, it happens quite a bit. Yet these mofos still act like they don't know what lights out means. I mean, hello, it went out before Matthews came out. They didn't say anything. It's like so fucking stupid, man. I swear. But the lights come back on and Malachi Black appears and tells Cope to do it. What? Like, he's encouraging him to lay a chair shot into Matthews. And even Buddy Matthews, he gets on his knees, puts his hand out. He's egging him on too. And he's about to, and then he turns to Malachi Black. Maybe he's going to hit Malachi. And then the lights go out. And comes on again, and both men disappear. And that's something else. Like, you're gonna see it later on too in an interview he has. It's like, is he going to the dark side? Is he going to become a member of the thing? I don't know. Or maybe they're just doing that because they want to make him vulnerable so that they can take the TNT title from him. We'll see. And AEW, I don't give a rat's ass about Rampage following Dynamite. I will not be watching. And the next match, it's like, I thought to myself, oh, how the mighty have fallen, as former champ Samoa Joe faces Isaiah Cassidy. And let's see if he screams like a little bitch when he does a high offensive move. Can't stand when he does that shit. And the Joe's gonna kill you chants ring out, and like, oh, please, Mr. Joe, please do that for us. You know? And Cassidy shrieks when he is, back body dropped or lifted into the air. Fucking assholes. Like, what does he think that does for him? He sounds like a pussy. It's just like, why does he do that? Does he think it's cool? Does he think that you hear people just laugh in the audience? I don't think they're laughing because it's funny. I think they're going, where'd that come from? He's been doing that for like how many years? And it's just like, this does not make any sense. Why do you do that? Like, I don't know. And then, I like how at one point we see a walk away outside by Joe as Cassidy flips over the top rope and goes splat on the arena floor. And for once, the crowd is doing the chant that fits here, and it's the whole Joe's gonna kill you. And he does so by planting Cassidy with an emphatic muscle buster. And Joe gets the easy win, and I hope this isn't a regular occurrence. Joe needs to be in high caliber matches, not throwaway ones like this. Like TK, do better and book Joe better. Now, Sky Blue, the lovely Sky Blue, glad to see her. Haven't seen her in some time. But she is heard, her voice is heard as we see a package, a video package of Willow becoming the TBS champion. And she starts off what she's going to say, as you see her on screen. She says, Willow Nightingale, my former best friend, you're a damn fraud. Last time, one-on-one in that ring, I had you pinned. If it wasn't for that bald bitch on a leash, Stokely Hathaway. I love when she said that. He had a problem with it later on. Why am I being called out like this? Why, I don't do nothing. I didn't do nothing wrong. It was hilarious later, But this is when Willow answered the thing. But we'll talk about her answering the challenge later on. And Julia and I, last time we came out, we beat both you and Statlander in a street fight. I have your number because I have proven it every damn week. And if you're half the woman you say you are, come prove it tonight on Rampage and put the TBS title on the line. Well, I won't be watching that match because I ain't watching Rampage, but I wish the best for these two ladies to put on a great match. Now, Orange Cassidy's in the ring and starts off by saying, I hate this. See, I thought after Saturday when my friends Chuck and Taylor got into the parking lot, beat each other up, and got everything out of their system, we'll all come together, stand in this ring together as best friends. But that's never going to happen. I have been told that because of what Trent did to Chuck after the match, he slammed his foot into the passenger side window and went through the glass. I saw a little clip of that because it was on Rampage and they showed the clip. I've been told my best friend Chuck Taylor will never wrestle again. So now I am standing in this ring alone to tell you, Trent Beretta, that the next time I see you, and he's cut off as we hear someone yelling, and it's Trent Beretta. A big surprise, says Trent. The crowd boos. Because, they don't like him at this point. Trent, Orange Cassidy is a beloved fan favorite. I like him too. I think he's great. A big surprise, Orange Cassidy makes things all about himself. That's his what do you call it? His gripe about Orange Cassidy. Trying to make somebody else's career ending about himself. Then OC charges after Beretta. And security comes out and Beretta calls Orange selfish, and that's why it happened. Chuck's career is over because of you, not me, you. As we see Stat come out, and she tries to keep Orange Cassidy, she helps security keep Orange Cassidy from Trent. As he keeps saying over and over, does Trent, that Cassidy is selfish. It's kind of weird because she's with Stokely and Willow, but then she's still with Chaos, with those guys with the best friends. That's what they are, right? Because you know how many groups that best friends and even, Rocky Romero are together and stuff like that. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff all over the place, But then Don Callis comes out, then he whispers stuff into OC's ears, like whispering sweet nothings. He's trying to convince him to come on over to the Don Callis family. But then we see him walk off with Callis, and is that I'm like, what's this about? Like, is that like a stamp of like, it's a done deal? Or he's just gonna talk to him? Or maybe he's finally found his heart, inside of his heart to help somebody. He's not like anything like that. He's selfish. It's all about, Don Callis, man. It's not about anybody else. So let's see what happens with that. Now the Bucks, they're talking to Renee, and they pretty much say, you know what, we talked enough. Let's give some airtime to the scapegoat, Jack Perry. Now Renee asks Jack what the hell was going through your mind when you attacked Tony Khan last week. So you see, the funny part to me is that Tony, says Jack Perry, you're the one that made me the scapegoat. And yeah, I've heard it. I heard it at the time, and I accepted it because I realized that it was a sacrifice that somebody was gonna. And I accepted it because, I realized that it was a sacrifice that somebody was gonna have to, it's a sacrifice he's gonna have to make. But we all have to sacrifice, and thanks to you, we're entering a new era under the Elite. Sorry for the little stumble. Sometimes my notes get a little jumbled. But a new era under the Elite. Is this all because Triple H and WWE are heralding in a new era themselves, and this is their way of kind of like catching up and trying to, just like almost like what DC did when Marvel has has it all together with their individual movies, and then the what do you call it, the Avengers and all that stuff, and then they try to catching up, and because it looks cool what they're doing, let's do it too, But that's the reason why they did it, because it's a new era now. I tell you what, Jack Perry's gotten way better at promos, and he's really looking confident. And he gets a lot of hate from people, man, but I don't see it. Why? I don't see why. If it's just because you guys see him as a small guy, enough of that. Enough of that already, okay? Enough of that. All right? This is an era where we see small wrestlers like him and big wrestlers and monsters, and we see damn high flyers, and we see acrobats and all that stuff. It's all good, It's all like they can all coexist. I get it that people don't like guys like him and his size and all that stuff, but it's about pro wrestling. It's not about the size of the person. It's what they can do. And Jack's very, very good in the ring. It's been a while since we've seen him in the AEW ring, but let's see what happens in the future. I don't know what's going on right now, but where they're going to head with this, what's going to happen, who's they going to attack next or whatever, what we see. Now up next, it's a match and it's for the useless, non-sanctioned, not even recognized officially FTW Championship, or for the world, right? Is that what what's it called? Calls it Jericho? And with the champ, Chris Jericho, he's going to go one-on-one with Katsuyori Shibata, who goes by the surname The Wrestler. Okay. Everybody's a wrestler. I mean, what is up with these surnames and these names that come before their name, like their character and their description of who they are? Jericho's the learning tree. Sometimes he's the Ocho. Sometimes he's Lionheart. Like, I get it, but at the same time, the wrestler? Yeah, we know he's a wrestler. He's great. Shibata's awesome. You know? And, Jericho comes out and he's all rah-rah. Like, he's that heel that tries to get under your skin by being all happy and great to be there. Every time he does a move, he's looking at the crowd for approval. Hey, you like that move? And I'm like going, I watched that. It's like sickening, like eating too much sweets, too much candy, and you get a massive tummy ache. And what is more sickening is the dumb crowd cheering him on. Again, cheering and chanting just to be cool. That's what it seems like to me. Yes, Jericho's the GOAT. Yes, Jericho's the guy who we all love. You think he's great. He's a future Hall of Famer, all this stuff, if he's not a Hall of Famer now. And I'm not talking about just WWE. And one day that'll happen. We'll see. But Jericho's, like I said, and he brings in a bag of hockey pucks. Not tacks or glass. It's like, okay, we get it. His dad, Ted Irvine, former NHL great, is in the front row there. They even embraced in the beginning. And he's in the crowd, like I said, and it is, Winnipeg, Canada, where hockey is a big thing, right? Canada, that's their biggest, big sport there. And Jericho gets slammed onto them by Shibata. I don't know if it really hurt, but they still feel like something, I guess. Now Jericho gets put in a figure four, doesn't sell at all. He just heads to the hockey pucks and throws one at Shibata, and he releases the hold. It didn't even look like the throw was enough power to do that. Just nonsense, but you got to sell it. I got to appreciate that at least that Shibata did that, but I don't know. If it hit him in the eye, maybe, you're reacting, and then of course, but I don't know. It's like, really? I don't know. And then Taz says, like, what the puck, because this is after he said earlier to Excalibur, you want me to curse? You want me to curse? Because he was so upset that Jericho is the FTW championship, and he totally values that title, and Jericho doesn't. He's just using it as a prop, pretty much, But there's a thing, I love the spot where Shibata has a trash can over his head, covering the top part of his body, and he walks to Jericho into the corner as Jericho's trying to hit him with the kendo stick, and he's not affected. He goes right up to him, backs him into the corner, and he starts headbutting him with the can. And it was hilarious. It's almost like he's a serious guy, but he kind of gave into the goofiness of that spot, and I like that. Now, this actually was a good match. It was fun. Like, what else do you expect with a no DQ match? FTW rules, whatever. And then Big Bill interferes, puts Shibata through a table, and then Jericho picks up the pin and the win. And he defends the useless title of FTW champion. Whatever that is. I wish Taz could still wrestle, because then maybe we'd see those two in a like a Legends match, a match that features two legends of pro wrestling. But don't think that ever's going to happen. He's got a lot of serious injuries that he's had, and I'm sure he's not going to. But he's going to use his son to do his fighting for him, and he's got every bit of confidence in his own boy. He's he's a little boy. I'm sure he looks at him as his little boy, as his son to do that. Now Willow says that she will maim and massacre Sky Blue. Right? Talking backstage with Stat and Stokely. And again, this is me talking, man. The title will be on the line. Yet Monet has next, does she not? It's like, again, TK, with the booking of a title match when it is already going to be up for grabs at a pay-per-view. Way to weaken the match coming up at Double or Nothing. And the Bucks ban Stokely and Stat from ringside. They come on, they say that, and they say that if not, or you're going to be banned from ringside, or else Willow will be stripped of her championship. And this is when Stokely gets all mad and says, and then referring to Sky Blue, calling him a bald, bitch and all that stuff. Like, I didn't do anything to deserve that. I didn't do anything to warrant that. What the hell, Stats trying to calm him down and stuff like that. Willow's just like bewildered, like what's going on? Why is it that these guys are banned from ringside? It's just like, don't put Sky Blue in a match like this. She deserves to have a fair shot. And at least, like I said, I've said in the past that at least put somebody who looks like they may beat the person, and who knows, Willow might win. That's the mentality that you should have with a person. That person might win, not it's a throwaway match. The reason why I'm saying that with this match, even though it's Sky Blue, is because this is what TK's MO is when it comes to booking. You have somebody already set up for a championship, but then you're gonna have that champion wrestle someone else, and it's close to Double or Nothing, right? I know it's going to be in May 26th, right? But still, I don't know, man. That kind of booking, it really just makes me scratch my head. But now, Claudio versus Brian Cage. This is typical power versus power contest. And at one point, they are each bouncing off the ropes, like just around the beginning, and trying to close on each other, and they kept doing it. I'm looking down. I was busy doing something. I look up, they're doing it. And then, I got distracted, something happening. I looked down, and then again. And I'm like going... it's like they kept doing it, and I was like, oh, enough already. It reminded me of when Minoru Suzuki and Mox kept chopping each other. And they just kept doing it and doing it for what seemed like forever. And I'm going, what point are you guys trying to prove? That you each can take a chop? We get it. You're both tough. We know that. But why are you doing it? And then people are just like, and they just keep doing it. I'm like going, it's some of those things where it's like it should be like 10 chops like that, but real meaningful chops that are hard. And then, we'd be like, damn, instead of chop. Oh, let's keep doing it, Like, what are you doing? Trying to rally up the crowd? Like, I for one can't stand that shit when they do that. It's like, get it in and then move on. Stop staying there forever. It seems like, okay, but put the timer on my watch, kind of thing. How long are you gonna do it for? Now. The Manitoba Massacre. This is like a side note as the match going on. For the TBS title, it's announced for Rampage. This is between Sky Blue and Willow. Now, we know Sky Blue isn't going to win the strap, like I said. Why book this fucking match? I swear TK is clueless in how to do shit. I don't understand why it's okay for him to do this. And as far as this match, Cage is spun around in the giant swing. And then we know that Castagnoli always, go from that. He goes right into the sharpshooter and he taps out Brian Cage. And again, Brian Cage looks weak, even though he's one of the most powerful guys on that roster. Very impressive. He does a lot of athletic shit for a guy his size, but he's just like Lance Archer. He's another guy that I like, but it's like every time he comes around, he huffs and puffs. He wants to blow the house down, and then he doesn't do nothing. He loses. He lost in that battle royal, and then like he comes singles matches. Has he ever won? That's how bad it is that I can't remember when he won. Sometimes I'm wondering, where is Jake the Snake? Isn't Jake his boy? I mean, his like manager, his what do you call it? The guy that walks with him to the ring. More Jake. I mean, Jake's signed with AEW. He said that on his podcast. Good for that. I'm glad to see he's around. Because at one point, would have been gone if it hadn't been for DDP. God bless DDP. We always say that. He's helped a lot of people. Now, Rocky Romero. He's given Miss the lovely Renee Paquette. She's interviewing him, but he doesn't side with anybody. He's also, as he's interviewing, he reveals that he doesn't want to side with nobody. He's done with it. The whole best friends thing, the whole chaos thing, the whole just being with the guys. It's just like he's going to do things on his own. And the thing that he wants to do on his own is he wants to be a champion. He's been a champion in ROH, in New Japan. He's been, champion all other places. And then he wants to be a champion in AEW. But then he wants to kind of prove he can hang in there with the best of them. And then he challenges Kyle O'Reilly to a match on Rampage. Now, I gotta admit, at Rampage, they set up some good matches, but I don't watch Rampage. I don't watch Collision. And they've been having some good matches on both, but it's just like, why do you care when like before it's like, I think they do make a good deal of making these matches connect to like the pay-per-views and all that stuff, but it's just like when you're let down, when you're let down by the previous Rampages and the previous what do you call it, the previous collisions, you just don't want to watch. Now next, Mariah May, she's in action. And of course, she is accompanied by Timeless Toni Storm, the women's world champion, and Luther, as she faces the Professor Serena Deeb. And Deeb gives a master class in technical expertise. Like, she's putting May in all kinds of, submissions and transitions, and she's just going like this to the crowd and egging them on, and everybody's egging her on, and stuff like that. But then Mariah May, she shows what she can do and puts Deeb through her paces as well. It's like, she's no pushover. She's going to give it to her as much as the professor wants to put her through it. But in the end, Toni Storm throws in the towel as Deeb has May in a single leg Boston Crab. And I don't know what Mariah May's going to think about that. That her, that's her idol, and she's gonna understand that, that she was looking after her best interest. But, I don't know if that's gonna lead to like an eventual breakup between the two. She's gonna look at that like, why did you do that? I could have tapped out. I could have, made it through the match. I could have made it through that. I could have went to the ropes. I could have broke the hold and everything like that. But that's the thing that I've been thinking about. A lot of people, I'm sure, think that it's gonna be eventually between them. Because Mariah May is always in these matches, and sometimes she's right sniffing the world title picture. You know what I mean? Like, she's in there, and she's almost going to be the number one contender, and sometimes she is, or sometimes she, you know what I mean? So one day she's going to win the number one contendership, and then what's the time of Toni Storm going to do? Oh, you know what? Disregard that. You are my child. What's that? What did she say? Like, you are my child. You are my, girl, or whatever it is. What she says, and she tries to convince her that she has her best interest at heart, but one day Mariah May is going to want to go for that title. But I think that it's, of course, Serena Deeb that's going to probably be the next contender. Now, Copeland was out of sorts earlier, right? This is him backstage being interviewed, and he and O'Reilly, O'Reilly shows up, and he tells him that, he's been watching him, and he says he has his back. But then when Copeland talks, you see Kyle O'Reilly's eyes on the TNT title. He's like this, hey, eyes up here, man. He's like, I get it. He gets it. He understands why he's looking at the title, because everybody wants that TNT title, right? If you're not going for the world title. And Copeland wishes him the best in his match against Rocky Romero, because that was also lined up for Rampage. Now this is the final segment, the return of Kenny Omega, but Justin Roberts, who to me is a big blowhard, but at least this was something that I actually stomached. There's one part that I didn't, but a good intro for Kenny Omega. He says he is a former world champ and the only wrestler to hold the World Tag and Trios title. Although most only dream of it, he achieved the illustrious 7-star rating. Is it from Meltzer? Like 7-star rating? Isn't a great match a great match? Does it really need a rating? I hear that Meltzer doesn't even rate certain people or certain matches, and they're great. It's just only guys in AEW, New Japan, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, but then he continues, he says he is the pride of joy of, and this is when he does that North Carolina, but he goes, North Carolina, and I'm like going, shut the fuck up. It's like, it sounds corny. Why is he the pride and joy of North Carolina when he was born in and raised and he hails from Winnipeg? I still don't get that. There's probably something there, but I don't know what that is. I should look into it more. But when he did that, I'm like, oh God, no. I just ate too. I just ate my lunch when I watched it. I go, no, no. I'm doing that Jim Carrey thing from Liar Liar. Like that when he does that shit. And I think he did that when he got dumped by Lauren Holly. The one that played that girl in that he was trying to look for in in Dumb and Dumber, right? He did that after he got dumped or something. He found out that she was with a guy or something like that. Whatever. It's a long time ago. But he continues, says he's the golden boy of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Tonight he returns to AEW. Tonight he returns home. He is the cleaner, the best bout machine. He is the founding father of AEW. He is Kenny Omega. Kenny chants ring out as they should. He's in the ring, looking sharp, has his glasses on, and he starts. He says, "You guys are making this tough on me," says Omega. "But I've never been good at this stuff." Welcome home chants, are heard. So I've never been good at this stuff, talking about injuries, sickness, weakness. A few months back, I was diagnosed with diverticulitis. Crowd boos, and because they're booing the evil diverticulitis. Then some idiot yells, "What?" I'm like, shut the fuck up. It's not about you, idiots. Someone said, "What? What's that?" No, not what, but what's that? You know what it is. We've had enough cases in wrestling to know what it is. Shut up. Stop making it about yourself. And then Omega says he'll spare us the gory details in case no one knows what that is. But after spending 10 days in the hospital, the doctor told me, "Kenny, you're one of the lucky ones. You were 24 hours away from dying." Brock, same thing. Brock was almost died too. It's a very tricky thing, that diverticulitis, man. You got to get it right away. If people think that when they feel it, it's like a stomach ache or some problem with their stomach, and they don't realize how serious it is, That's how diseases are. That's how, when you get sick, that's how you have to be on top of your game, top of your, doctor visits and all that stuff. Me finding out things recently, and it's just like, you got to stay on top of it. And I intend on doing that with my, diagnosis thing that I have. I've said it in the past video, don't need to say it here, but, you got to stay on top, guys and gals. You got to stay on top of your, your being, going to the doctors and making sure you're okay, stuff like that. But after spending 10 days in the hospital, the doctors told me, says Kenny Omega, that Kenny, you're one of the lucky ones. You're 24 hours away from dying, like I said. So to that I said, cute story, doc. Like, can you patch me up and send me back to Dynamite? People cheer. He said, Kenny, it's not that simple. We need to get what's in you out of you. And if we cut you open now, we're going to have to fillet you open. And you're going to have a bag, a colostomy bag, for 6 months, 12 months, possibly the rest of your life. So I said to the doctor, and if I don't? He said, that's fine, but for the rest of your life, you're going to have a ticking time bomb right here as Omega runs his hand up and down his abdomen. You might not know where, when, or why, but you might just one day wake up in the hospital having the surgery done to you anyway. Any blunt force trauma to the stomach could kill you. He's scheduled for surgery in the future. And he can't do anything right now. And we're going to see what happens with that later on in this segment. And then he says this, and then some jackass in the crowd cheers. I'm like, man, what the fuck is wrong with some of you in the crowd? There's always some idiot that wants to be different. Everybody's booing when you boo. And this is the guys cheering. Like, I've been to events where, it's quiet, and then people are right next to me yelling inane shit. I'm like going, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and then when we're cheering, they're sitting there with their hands in their laps. I'm like going, you definitely are trying to make it about yourself. No. And he continues, he says, since that day, I can't lie. I had to stop. Omega pauses. All up. I had to stop watching. Because my hands would shake. I was scared. For the first time in my career, I was scared. And I felt pathetic. I felt like a coward, and I felt like maybe the point today, this whole thing was to come out and explain to you, you know, that I had to retire. The crowd boos. No is heard on cue like good little sheep. It's like, and then I did something. So I turned on AEW for the first time the other day and I watched Dynasty. Did anybody watch Dynasty? He says. I saw Swerve make history. I saw Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson put on one of the greatest matches I have ever seen in my life. It was great. Awesome. I wish I could say I was happy, but when I looked down at my hands, they were shaking again. And the tremors got worse. The tremors got worse, and I thought, wait a minute, am I really scared of being a wrestler? Some in the crowd yelled, no. Shake my motherfucking head again. Just make it about yourself. Because it's like one or two people and they sound like idiots. That's not what it was. When I came out here and the call from Justin Roberts, he hears a call from Justin Roberts, and I heard each and every one of you chanting my name just now. It made me realize something very important. Yes, I was scared, but that's life. We're all scared of something. The reason why I was shaking is because I was going through withdrawal. And in the beginning, when I heard him say it, I go, yeah, you're kind of withdrawing, man, because you haven't wrestled. It's like someone who has to go cold turkey or quit, drugs, drinking, and all that stuff. They start shaking because they don't have it. They've not had that, right? It's like with him, he hasn't wrestled. So, of course, that's what he's going through. I need to be back in this ring. I needed to be back in this ring. I needed to be back in this ring more than I ever wanted to breathe. Living is breathing, and living is being in this ring. Being called the best is what fuels me, and it hurt. And it hurt me, and I hated it. That's all the best shows, he's missed the best shows, the pay-per-views, the best wrestlers on the planet are in the conversation for being the best, and I've already been forgotten. People are booing because they don't agree. No one's forgotten him. So I made a promise to myself, and I'm making a promise to each and every one of you. This isn't over until I exhaust every option. If there's a 10% chance, a 5% chance, a 1% chance, Omega takes his glasses off. It's being serious business now. Bag or no bag, you guys are not done with Kenny Omega yet. I made a mission statement to change the world, and that brings me to the second piece of business. When we're talking about colostomy bags, why not talk about the two other shits while we're at it? I think that's what he said, because it kind of, blacked out the, it silenced whatever you said. And I think that's what he said, because pretty much that's what he's talking about, And now he goes, Matthew and Nicholas, the two shits. You've been running roughshod over this company and embarrassing yourselves more than you've ever embarrassed yourselves before in the past. And you can do that. You're free to do that as EVPs, but what you forgot is that there's also one other EVP. I may be fired from the Elite, but you can't fire me as EVP. So as far as I'm concerned, until someone says otherwise, a part of the power in this company belongs to the best bout machine. And then we hear Okada's music, and the man they say replaced Omega in the Elite, he has a mic in hand. I'm pretty sure it's going to be short and sweet, because that's how he always does it, because, we're not going to expect a full-blown promo from him. Being from Japan, and he's not possibly, definitely, he doesn't have a full grasp on English, but he has, he can speak it. We've heard. And then Excalibur chimes in. He reminds us that the 7-star match Omega had was with Okada. That's where that comes from, I guess, right? And holy shit chants ring out. And yes, I can agree. Two men who share a storied rivalry in the ring together, that's a holy shit moment. They got it right. The chant at the right time, that's what I'm talking about. Don't just say it when you're just seeing two people just looking at each other and what's that about that? This is definitely a holy shit. Because these guys, we know what these guys are capable of. And then, as they go face to face, Omega greets Okada in Japanese. The Rainmaker, says Okada. The best bout machine. Pointing to himself. It's funny, huh? We had a bit of a rivalry over in New Japan. What do you say? Give me a couple months. We'll settle it right here in this AEW ring. How's that grab you? Says Omega. Okada answers, I'm sorry, Kenny. I'm the best bout machine now. Everybody boos. He's smiling with that damn smile of a asshole, like a conceited, overconfident, jerk. And then, as he says that, Jack Perry attacks Kenny from behind, and Omega, even in his weakened state, takes out Perry, but as he executed a snap German, he immediately clutched his abdomen. Uh-oh. And he kind of sudden, some attack to your abdomen or your gut or whatever could be deadly. But he gets up, looks to hit Perry perhaps with a V-trigger. He does the whole thing of pointing, so that's coming up, but Okada trips him as he bounces off the rope. Okada trips him, and Perry connects with a chair shot to the stomach of Omega, dropping him immediately. And then the Bucks come out looking concerned. And they're telling Okada and Perry, relax. Come on, look at this. Look at the black iron that he has and all this stuff. But then they each have, Omega's hand in theirs. And you know what happens when they each have a hand of their opponent in each of their hand? It's just like followed up an EVP trigger, and they connect with it. Then they take out Omega. Now they're gonna follow it up with some more. I was like, what else are you guys gonna do? You got him down, and then they look like they're gonna send him up for something else, and then FTR come out and save the day. They come to Kenny's old. Kenny's 8. But is it too late? But it's too late. And this is an overbooked ending? Is it like to what it was like? To me, I think it was just an overbooked ending to what was an amazing promo by Kenny. It's like Kenny Omega can cut an amazing promo. He's fucking gold on that mic. I don't know if he was like this before, but it just seems like if he wasn't, he's been working on that promo. But I don't think he's bad at promo. It's just the fact that maybe he wasn't comfortable, especially because it's a main company and a spotlight's on AEW and everybody is critiquing you and looking at you carefully if you can do this and do that. And I gotta hand it to him, man. This was a great promo. I think it's just the end kind of like a little overbooked. A little, meaning too many things going on. It could have stopped with Jack Perry attacking him, and then that's it. And then maybe you have the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas on the stage clapping their hands like this, or maybe even being assholes and going, "What? What are you doing?" Stuff like that. And then they were like, going, "What a bunch of jerks!" Like, you know what I mean? Something like that. FTR, what's gonna happen? FTR gonna have another match with what do you call it? With the Young Bucks again? Is this what the setup is for? Well, it gives what do you call it? Backup. Kenny Omega. What better backup than Dash and Cash, right? Dax and Cash, I was saying Dash and Cash. What Dash and Cash? But I gotta say, this was the best Dynamite for me personally in a long time. It was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. I think everything clicked. I think everything was great. It was booked good, Maybe give a little credit to TK, but at the same time, yeah, it was just an amazing Dynamite. Everything was great. I like how it's building towards Double or Nothing. Some of these matches, some of these promos are leaning towards that. You got rivalries brewing. You got stuff like this, especially what happened at the end with this. What's going to happen next? I mean, I think this is a way to kind of like put Kenny Omega away for another few months or so. And then when he comes back, it's on. He already challenged Okada. He's probably going to still want to put that out there. Like, I want you in the ring, man. You and I are gold. We're magic in that ring. Let's do it again. Do it here in the AEW ring, not just in Japan. Let's bring it here. Bring it stateside. And who doesn't want to see that, right? And then you got Jack Perry. When he cut that promo, when he was being interviewed by Renee, he's improved leaps and bounds. To me, he's my favorite wrestler in AEW. The whole nonsense with CM Punk and all that stuff that they're, bar that, he's great. People don't, like I said earlier, people don't like him because of the fact that he's a small guy, and all these people, they swear by the big guys. You gotta be a big guy. You gotta be a over muscled guy. You gotta do that stuff, blah blah blah, to be successful. And I'm like, there's room for everybody, man. In wrestling, wrestling's not about the big guys anymore. Only. This generation, we see a lot of guys like Jack Perry, or Johnny Gargano in WWE with Tommaso Ciampa. Some of these guys who are not big muscle guys, but they can go in the ring. Not everybody can be Brian Cage, where Brian Cage moves like a damn cruiserweight. Why do you think he's doing that? He knows that's where the money is. He knows that's where people are really entertained. And that's why he does those moves. Because he wants to entertain. He doesn't just want to be a big muscle guy that's just sits there and he just clotheslines people and power slams and all that stuff. He does all these type of high-flying moves that you wouldn't expect. Wardlow, he does a damn swanton off the damn top rope and all this stuff. You got a lot of these guys doing that stuff. I mean, I know that Will Hobbs does his part too when it comes to like just being, other than just being a big guy. They want to show that we're not just size and power and strength. We could be athletic too. But like I said, AEW was fun. It was great. I love what they're doing. Like I said, I love that they're really, really just, moving towards Double or Nothing, and they're building stuff up. Some things still need a lot of work, but at the same time, at this point, I got nothing to complain about when it comes to AEW right now, when it comes to Dynamite. You gotta keep it going. You gotta keep it like this. This is how it needs to be booked. And this is how it needs to move. Keep the damn gears going, stuff like that, Oil those damn, squeaks and all that stuff, and the rust that's in some of those gears, man. Keep it moving, so that we're gonna have stuff like this, shows like this, I can't complain, and I'm looking forward to Dynamite. I mean, not Dynamite, but I'm looking forward to next week because if they continue it like this. But I'm looking forward to Double or Nothing. It's gonna happen on May 26th. Let's see what happens. A lot of good build, and I can't complain. Like I said, Dynamite was great, and good job to everybody involved. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So before I end this, please, as always, click like, share the video, comment, also subscribe. I very much appreciate it, as my subscriber count keeps going up, and I can't complain about that. I love that. And also the notification button, please find it however you can find it, and be sure you click that, and that way you'll know when I upload. And sometimes, especially when it comes to like your phone, you have to click special. You have to really click it, and then you have to press certain things and press all, so that you'll get the notification no matter what. That's important. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And all I gotta say is take care, and I will see you in my next video.